could I forget? The next thread would be how to study the Dharma and avoid being caught up in cults, and how to avoid narcissists, what to do if you discover that you are somehow in a relationship, be it as a teacher or in a personal relationship with a narcissist. I'll merely be echoing what I have gathered from other YouTubers and books and health professionals, but I've been greatly helped by other YouTubers talking about it from their own point of view. And so what I find is that if people will talk from their situation, and it's very similar to other people's situations, that is much more helpful for others to relate to, and find it that it might apply to them and might help them. Like, for example, at one point I heard about CPTSD, or which is, you might know PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. Something like if you see some kind of horrific event, you get traumatized, and then you have that after the trauma, you have a post-traumatic kind of mental symptoms, recurring flashbacks and emotional things, depression, all kinds of symptoms. I'm not going to try and fully describe it, but there's another one that was related to people who'd since childhood, but it also seemed to come up with religious communities, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or CPTSD. So when I started researching that, most of the people were talking about it from the childhood abuse, and that doesn't really resonate with my life. So it was hard for me it took a long time for me to find people talking about CPTSD, for people who had dodgy spiritual teachers who traumatized them myriad times, again and again and again and again and again. You kind of accumulate PTSD, and you may have already had that tendency just due to life in general and all the trauma that goes along with bad things that happen to you as a child. Might be nothing to do with your parents, might be a little bit when things happen. Even if they had the best intentions, you might have been traumatized by events, fights, getting punished, or you might have actually had really bad parents, that harmed you a lot, and it all just accumulates. And then later that you look for security, you look for refuge, and you might end up in a religious community and feel safe, feel wisdom and care and love and kindness, but then it turns out that they turn that off and start to traumatize you and demand more and more and want to control you and expect you to be compliant and obedient, and scare you into thinking that if you leave, you're in deep shit, you'll go to hell, or whether it's Buddhist hell or Christian hell or Hindu hell, or even just the hell of not having any friends anymore. It's like social hell, a pariah. Those things accumulate. So there's like before the cult, during the cult, after the cult, and then and the more you even realize what happened to you, that upsets you because of the feeling of betrayal and loss.